A few months ago, I had a client who, after seeing some initial results with Facebook ads for motivated sellers, had hit a snag and he was struggling to get deals done. In fact, he had no deals on the contract. And he came to me to ask me for my advice. I sat with him on a Zoom call and I laid out for him a plan. That plan, 3 months later, led him to have a record month of over $70,000 in assignment fees. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what the advice was that I gave him. So then that way you can implement the same strategy for you. I want to provide you context here. Number one is, my name is Chico, and I am considered the godfather of virtual wholesaling. In fact, if you've heard of that term, I was the one that invented that term back in 2008. Everything I do is all online marketing right now, meaning that we ourselves and our clients, we generate motivated sellers using online marketing. This particular client is also doing the same, specifically focusing on Facebook. The majority of our leads and the majority of our deals come from Facebook. So let's talk about mistake number one, and that was hiring an acquisitions person too soon. So my client went to this seminar, to another guru seminar, who shall remain nameless, and they are all about building a big team. And so he decided, hey, I want to do the same thing. And one of their recommendations was to go out and hire outside of the industry, meaning don't hire somebody that is already doing real estate wholesaling or wants to do real estate wholesaling because you're going to hire them and they're going to leave. Hire somebody completely outside the industry, train them, because under their advice, this is what they said, that as long as you have a script and you train on the script, then anyone can do the wholesaling real estate business. And he took that to heart. He went out and he found someone that was in sales before, but nothing related to real estate. And he gave him the phones, gave him the leads, and then off to the races he went. And one of the things he realized after a little bit of time, that person just didn't have it in them in order to be in sales in the real estate wholesaling business. I asked him if he thought that it was a training thing, if it was like what specifically about that was that caused that person not to succeed. And in his mind, this is what my client said, either you have it or you don't. And he realized that this person didn't have it. And he should have realized that sooner, that this guy was just not going to cut it. And he should have let him loose. Instead, the guy ate up a bunch of his leads. And in the end, nothing happened. So one of the things he did is that he cut that guy off and said sayonara. And he decided to jump on the leads himself. The second thing he did was that he changed his strategy around Facebook. This particular client wasn't following my specific protocol precisely. That's why I tell people all the time, when you come into my program, and if we help you in any way, we can set up your ads, we can coach you on running ads, we can run the ads for you. You can click the link in the description if you're interested. We tell them, follow precisely what we're doing, do not change anything, get deals done, and then later you can iterate and try to create your own versions of it. So he was doing things that, in my mind, I said, you got to change these. And I'll tell you what they are. Some of them you may or may not understand depending on your level of awareness with regards to Facebook advertising. The first thing I told him to do was to start incorporating image ads instead of just videos. So he was using almost all entirely video ads. He got actors on Fiverr to record those videos, and they were fine. But I told him that if he is not also using ads, image ads, then he is going to be missing out on a lot of people that are not going to take the time in order to watch the video. If you think about it, if a video is 60 seconds long, the likelihood is somebody is flicking through Facebook. They don't have a lot of time. They're going to be flicking through stuff right away. They don't have time to listen to your 60-minute spiel, a 60-second spiel on why it is that you should sell your house to a real estate investor. They're going to make that instant decision and say, yeah, you know what? I'll take an offer. And then they're going to click the button to fill out the form. So the image ads really play into that type of mentality with the user on Facebook. And when you advertise on Facebook, you have the option of using one or the other or all of them. Meaning you take images and you take videos, you combine them all together and you put them into the campaign. So then that way, Facebook itself decides which one it's going to show, which one it's going to show based on that prospect. And so that's the first thing I had him do. The second thing we did in Facebook is that I recommended that he use Facebook own internal collection system in order to get the person's the prospect information. So if somebody is browsing on Facebook, they see their ad, and they click on the button. There's two things that could happen with that button click. One option is they can go to an external website. Now, there's agencies out there that will pitch you on, oh, this is why we have an external website. It's so much better, this and that and everything else. And I told them, I said, you know what? We have great success without that. We have great success with keeping people in the Facebook ecosystem. Because if you think about it, what does Facebook want? Facebook wants to keep that person on the Facebook platform. If they leave the platform, guess what? Facebook isn't going to be able to show them any more ads. And so Facebook is going to lose money. So if you can keep that prospect on the platform, that's ideal. So by using Facebook lead forms, which is Facebook's own internal collection system for the prospect information, you're able to capture that information and then be able to then keep them on the Facebook platform. But now you have that lead and now you can reach out to them. Now, some people argue that, well, if you use Facebook's own system, then the leads are not going to be that great quality. And the answer is yes, but with an asterisk. What we do is we ask a lot of questions of the lead. What's your motivation? Property address, asking price, what's your time frame, the motivation, everything. And who's living there, and if the property is listed. So we create some friction with that form, so then that way we make sure that we get a higher quality lead. The next thing we hadn't changed was his targeting with regards to geography. We said, hey, go out and target wide. Stop trying to target the major metro areas. You're paying a lot of money per lead and there's a lot of competition. Target wide. So he decided to, and I told him to build out campaigns that were targeting the states, the top 12 states, and also targeting nationwide. And he's going to have a mix of leads. And then you need to switch over. This is what I told him. You need to switch over to a sifting and sorting game, not a convincing game. And that is one thing that a lot of people struggle with. At the end of the day, we want a large volume of leads. Keep in mind is that with a lot of these campaigns, we're spending at the top end, maybe $20 a lead, but many times we'll get Facebook to deliver leads at $10, sometimes even less than that. So this is different than if you're dealing, say, with a pay-per lead company and you're buying leads and you're spending $75 to $100 per lead. If that $100 lead, $150 lead is a crappy lead, obviously you're going to have an issue with that. But if Facebook delivers to you a lead that you pay $6 for or $10 and it's not that great of a lead, it's not that big of a deal. You just wait for the next one. And also that model is different in the sense that, if you have a lead that you spent $150, $200 for, you're going to feel a little bit of an obligation. Which ones are the best? Which ones are the most motivated? Which ones are in the best areas? Because there are going to be some that are not going to be motivated. There are going to be some that are not going to be in an area that you can do anything with. Some markets are small. However, we do deals in a lot of small markets. And then some markets are just completely way out in the boonies and there's nothing going on and there's not really much you can do with them. But in general, we get a mix. And if the lead cost is relatively low, it's not going to be a problem for you to switch to the sifting and sorting methodology. So those are the three things we did. And then he implemented that. He got on the phones with the sellers and he really focused. And then months later, he had his single biggest month. And I just recently had a conversation with him where he wants to spend now $5,000 a month because now he wants to take some of that money that he made, push it back into ads and even make more money. Now, you don't have to start with that much. We have clients routinely start at $20 a day in order to start running campaigns and in order for you to start getting leads and getting traction in the business. But that's exactly what happened with my client. And when you're operating in this sifting and sorting method with your business, it's just more enjoyable. In fact, I call it the ultimate real estate lifestyle business. Check out the video that will appear here or there, and I dig deeper into this model and see if it may just be the thing you've been looking for.